And welcome to Turntable 20s. My name's Sam Morehouse and I run Turntable and I am the host of Turntable 20s, our podcast where we take 20 minutes and talk to interesting people in the tech space in and around Ghana. Today we're joined by Rhema Andar, who works at Mest in Africa. She's dialing in from Ghana, Accra in Ghana right now, and we're super happy to have you, Rhema. Why don't you start by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, everyone. First of all, thank you, Sam, for having me. I'm really happy to share my experiences, insights as well. So, my name is Rhema. I'm currently a program manager at Mest Africa. I work under our digital skills department. We're currently running a digital skills training program, and I manage our employer engagements essentially. So, working with different organizations to get our learners and talent more opportunities.
Amazing, that's wonderful. Why don't we start with Mest? So
Mhm.
Mest is not an African organization, is it? It comes from, is it Swedish?
So MEST itself is actually an African organization, but our
Yes.
parent company, Meltwater, is an outside inside media company. So we basically share insights to different corporations. They are based in San Francisco. Now it is our founder, Jon, who is Swedish.
Very nice.
I think he's actually he may be Norwegian. I'm actually not sure. I think he's Norwegian, not Swedish.
But I got Sweden from
Actually,
somewhere. Maybe that was a
okay.
lie.
I think he's actually Norwegian, yeah. But MEST itself, it's an Africa-based organization. We are called the Meltwater Entrepreneurial School of Technology, and we focus on training technology entrepreneurs all across Africa.
And there's been some successful projects that have come out of the Meltwater Accelerator as well, haven't there? We see in the news there's phenomenal work coming out. Can you talk about a couple of the success stories?
Yes, so we've had amazing startups come out of our 1 year training program. In this program, we bring young people from all across Africa, fly them into our campus in Accra, and train them on how to be software entrepreneurs. So we have Mikasa. Mikasa is Ghana's largest real estate platform. So typically, if people are looking for houses, they are their first online go to. We also have Bizo Money. Bizo Money is a fintech. They are doing extremely well as well. We have Copianto. Copianto is an AI based organization. I think they support with prompt engineering as well. So we've had many different successful startups in different areas. We also have some really cool ed techs as well.
Incredible, isn't it? Yeah, and
Mhm.
there's been some real breakthrough successes as well as platforms that have grown out of Ghana and have attracted international attention and international funding as well.
Yes, so we have a few that have. Many of them have gotten some funding. I can't speak to those details as because I don't work directly in that team, so I don't want to mess up the numbers. But I
Absolutely.
know a lot of our companies have reached some international. They have a lot of international funding partners as well. I know Yflix is a startup that is kind of like Netflix, and they recently got into partnership with Amazon Prime to host African-based content. So these are ones that I can think off the top of my head. I can share some numbers a little later as well.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about you. So, what's your background, Rima? Where did you come from? Your education background, and how did you get into the tech space?
So I'm born and raised in Accra, Ghana. I went to boarding school from 12 to 18. Really great experience. 18, I went to college. I actually went to an all women's college, which was an amazing experience. And then I moved back to Ghana. My career actually started out designing programs that supported out of school adolescent girls. So that's how my career actually started. And then I
Support
saw
in what
this.
way did it support them?
So essentially, we were trying to fight the problem of teenage pregnancy, girls not having access to education. So basically, supporting them, educating them and their families and communities, about, not getting pregnant, going to school, continuing your education. Even if you do get pregnant, there are other options for you.
Mm.
So that's what that really focused on. And I did that for a couple of years, really great, impactful work. And then I saw this opportunity with MEST again, which focused on young people. The initial program I started working on was called Startup Creation. And the goal was to create a startup in 3 months, which it was an experiment. And we succeeded with just one startup called Waste Man, and which is a waste collection tech company. They are doing really
Mhm.
well. And then I moved on to our digital skills training programs. So I kind of fell into tech. It wasn't intentional. But I guess I went where my skills were needed. And I've had to
Yeah.
educate myself as I have gone on throughout my career so far.
One of the things I love hearing from people is their path into technology, because my path was like fairly linear. I kind of fell
Hmm.
into it. I went to high school and then I was good at computer science and I studied computer science at university. And then I was like, okay at university. And then I went to go and get a job as a programmer. And that's been my life ever since. And
Yeah.
I've walked this path always around software. So I've been a software developer. I've led software teams and I've
Mhm.
educated in the software space. And now I run a software business. But I always love hearing from people that have come from different paths. It sounds like yours was kind of a hop, skip, and a jump, right? So from a girls' school to working with young women, from working with young women to educating young people,
Yes.
and from educating young people to Mest, where you're trying to find ways for them to start businesses and to gain
Hmm.
skills. I think
Hmm.
it's very cool, and the digital skills training in particular is fascinating, right? Because one of the things I think about digital skills and software skills in a place like Ghana is there's excellent internet access. There's access to hardware, like you can get hold of a
Hmm.
laptop. You can there are learning materials online. So the barrier to entry and the barrier to learning has really dropped over the last 10 or 15 years. So one of the things that we
Exactly.
try to achieve at Turntable, and I'd love to hear from you your thoughts about this,
Hmm.
is that talent is evenly distributed globally. There are very, very talented people everywhere, but what's lacking sometimes is opportunity. And the
Exactly.
more of us there are around that are trying to bridge that gap and provide opportunity, the more successful people will be. So, how
Mhm.
have you managed to tackle that in the digital skills space in Accra?
So it's actually interesting that you said talent is everywhere, opportunity is not. This is actually the philosophy that MEST is built on. So it's something that we really strongly believe in. And I think you're very right about there now being, in the last 10 years, there have been an increase in digital skills training programs, increase in access to tech skills, tech knowledge as well. Many young people are in different programs, not just with MEST, but with other organizations. But I think what we do differently with our digital skills training at MEST is that we focus a lot on the learners. We try and make sure that straight from marketing and recruitment, we are getting people in who want to stay in through the entire journey, right? So, for example, when it comes to women, getting women into this space, our marketing focuses on women. And it's even funny because we all our flyers will have just women, but still majority of the applicants are men, which is always very interesting. Um, and then do some marketing, recruitment as well. We do something that we call a support chat. And this support chat is essentially there to assess risk levels or sort of assess what we can do to support them in their journey whilst they're with us. And then they
Right.
go through the program. There's also very strong mentorship from different people across the industry. So not just developers, not just digital marketers, but product managers, people that can sort of create the bigger picture for them. So they see the different options that are available. And then
Mm.
post our program, because we focus a lot on matching them to opportunities, how can we support them to do this? How can we build up well-rounded individuals that actually offer value to the organizations that they join?
Yeah, yeah. So is that mentoring and support that comes from the outside, is that a volunteer position? Can people reach out to you?
Yes, of course. There are many ways that you can support in our programs. So we have super agents. They are essentially more experienced freelancers. who can guide people that want to go into the freelance field. We also have many senior developers, some from Turntable, who have come on board to sit on panels, to also just speak to our learners very casually, right? So they know what the realities are. We also have instructors. That's also another way that you can join our program. We're constantly experimenting with different languages. We're thinking about launching a Python cohort. So we're always open to people who can provide knowledge. We focus a lot on the community and community building. MEST is a community enabler, right? So we're always open to having more people join, more knowledge, more impact. There are many ways that you can participate. Happy to share how we can do that as well.
Yeah, we will. We'll put some links in the show notes at the end so people can reach out
Mhm,
and hopefully help you. I'm really interested in the situation for underrepresented groups in Ghana,
mhm,
and how we're able to help them access technology resources and learning resources like this. I think it sounds like a huge part of your job is outreach and trying to crack the nut and figure out where those pockets of people are who are able to come to your programs. And in my work, I'm aware of some fairly strong structural issues that make it harder for women, for example, to join programs like this. And I think sometimes that can be challenging for people to talk about, right? Particularly,
mhm,
I'm a bloke, right? One of the challenges that we faced at Turntable is that a lot of the time the young women that we hire have responsibilities at home that the men don't.
mhm.
How have you been able to address those issues?
So I think there are many types of underrepresented groups. I'll focus on women first, like you said. For us, we don't think of women as people that may have outside responsibilities that they need to take care of during our program. These responsibilities are part of these women, right? So we need to design our programs in a way that accounts for this. Women
Mm,
make 50% of the population in the world, right? So you cannot design a program that completely ignores what they need. So as opposed to um, our engagement with our learners being reactive, we try and be more proactive to their needs, right? Understand what they need. A lot of them have families, they are taking care of people. How can we design our program to account for this? So we're typically very flexible. We know that women that have kids in Ghana, kids end school around 3 to 4. So we allow you to leave if you need to go pick up your kids. It doesn't, we don't, there are no implications to your participation in the program. What we do is that over the weekends, our instructors can sit with you if you need to catch up, and that's typically fine. The support chat that I mentioned earlier also goes a long way to doing that. Now, when it comes to actually reaching out to women and encouraging them to join these programs, because that's actually where the challenge is. We notice that
right.
when they are in the program, it's fine. They're able to do exceptionally well. Some of our best talents are women, but the problem is actually getting them to join the program. So aside from us having women on our flyers, women talking about the program, having info sessions where women lead, we're doing a lot of groundwork to have them understand that this is a space that is also for you. You can also
Yes.
succeed in this space, right? Yes, it may seem frightening, daunting, but you can do it. There are many people that have come before you. So what we do, especially during our onboarding, is to have our alumni who are women come and share. We actually had our onboarding for our most recent cohort on Monday, and there was a lady that asked a very interesting question. She said, I have 2 kids. This program seems very intense. And the alumni who was sharing was like, no, I also have 2 kids, and I've been able to do this, right? So
Yeah.
you are not
There's no excuse.
alone. Like, what's your excuse? And I think what she said was really profound. She said, I had to make some sacrifices, right, to be here, but I know what my end goal is. I know what I want to achieve. I know that what I'm doing is going to benefit my children in the long run. So I have to make this sacrifice, right,
Yeah.
to get to my
Yeah.
goal.
And that conversation would never have happened if you hadn't thought about how to reach out to. You have to. We talk a lot about going further than just the university gates. You
Hmm.
can't. You can't wait for people to come to you. You can't wait for cohorts and populations and
Exactly.
constituencies to reach out to you. You have to be a bit pushy, and you have to be a bit of a salesperson as well.
Yes.
Right. That magic of it took me far too long to realize that. I can't stand on a stage and say to young folks in Ghana, men and women,
Hmm.
like work hard and join my program, and this is what awaits you. And
Yeah.
the real trick was I had to do that at first because that's bootstrapping, but
Hmm.
the real magic was when we were able to have our alumni, Global Code, the non-profit that we run, and at Turntable go into the universities, and because a lot of people select themselves out of those opportunities.
Exactly. Hmm.
They say that's not for me, or here's a list of we all have a laundry list of reasons why we shouldn't do the
Hmm.
thing.
Hmm.
Mm. Yeah, no, that's wonderful. And these programs have now been running for long enough that um, you've got like a flywheel of
Yes.
and a
So we
reputation as
started,
well.
exactly. We started last year. Actually, so our entire digital skills training program started in 2020. And we had
Wow.
one that was called Pre-Mest, which also focused on software development and digital marketing. We partnered with the MasterCard Foundation to run this program. And then after we finished that partnership, we still wanted to continue what we were doing. So we partnered with Generation. Generation is also an international global organization that trains young people across the
Mm.
world. And we partnered with them to run what we call the GROW program, which stands for Ghana Remote and Online Work. So, yes, we've had years of experience doing this. And now we know what strategies work. We're still learning though, but we know what strategies work. We know how to reach our target groups and what their needs are as well.
How are you reaching out to people? Are you in universities and schools? Do you go further back? We run internships and school outreach programs, and you found all the same things.
So actually, we don't go directly to universities. We've had instances where we have had conversations with university students, but because usually our targets are people that are out of university, people that are ready to work, have finished their national service, but cannot find jobs. So our main sources have been non-traditional and traditional media. So social media is a big thing for us. And when it comes to reaching our target groups, another one is focusing on, for example, the MasterCard Foundation alumni groups. They have thousands of young people in their groups, and we focus on them as well. For example, and CAMFED as well. CAMFED seeks to educate young people in Ghana. We reach out to those groups as well. So we have a lot of partners that are not necessarily educational institutions. But I think now we are actually piloting. I don't think we are actually piloting a program with the Ghana Communication, um, Ghana Communication Technology University. Sorry, it usually trips
It's a
me out.
mouthful.
It is. So in this program, we are working with them to again roll out our web development skills training course, but we're trying to target university alumni. So this is how we typically engage with universities. We don't go there to speak to them, but we work with them to sort of build out different programs.
So, what does the path into MEST digital skills training look like for a young person in Ghana?
So the path into our program, we've heard that our program is very difficult to get in, but I don't think so. I just think you need to be resilient and see yourself through the entire process. So, for example, let's say we post, you see an Instagram story on the Mest page or Generations page, and you're interested. You click the link, it takes you to our website, which is the Grow website. Here you see all the courses available. So let's say I want to take a web development course. I click the link and then I start my application. You first start with a demographic form, which is collecting your data, your name, email address, where you live, if you are working. If you are working, how much do you make? Now, the reason why we ask this is because our target is actually people that do not have jobs, right? We are trying
Mhm.
to solve the problem of unemployment and underemployment. Also, our program requires you to be physically present every day from 9 to 4. So if you are working or if you are in school, you
Right.
obviously cannot commit that time, right? So you do the demographic form and then you move on to our assessments. This is where the challenges usually come. So we have an English assessment, a logic assessment, a math assessment, and what we call a creativity check. And this is just to see how proficient you are in these different areas. With a logic, we're specifically focusing on your problem solving skills, right? Because in a lot of these fields, this is what is important. How do you think through problems? How are you able to come up with different solutions? Are you taking other groups into account into your solutions, right? So once you pass these couple of assessments, you now go on to what we call the creativity check. At this point, we are trying to assess your creativity, your innovation. One of the questions that we asked in our first round of recruitment was, if you are one of the top 50 apps in the world, which app would you be? And we had some really interesting
Wow,
submissions.
that's a fun question.
Yeah, really fun. I mean, someone did like an anime video. People do like
Wow.
sketches, drawings, because we want to see how creative can you be. And it's interesting because also at this point, we see a lot of people relying on AI to come up with their
Yes.
responses.
Yes.
And we don't typically shy away from using AI as a tool, but in our process, we want to see how you think without using AI because people are becoming very reliant on AI now.
We
Um,
are. We all
yeah,
are.
even me.
But
Um,
you want to cut through the AI and get to the human,
exactly
whilst we
right.
still can,
Yes. Before we all turn into
before we succumb.
so yeah. Then you go through our creativity check, which I just spoke about. We also call it
Yeah.
fire in the belly, which I think is a really interesting name because you want to see
Fire in the
what fire,
belly. I
right?
love that. Yeah.
Yeah. So at this point, we now are deciding. Actually, so the entire process from the demographic form to the creativity check is automated, right? So we are scoring them as they go along, but the system is compiling the short list, let me say. So by the time after you are done with the creativity check, we have our short list of applicants that we want in the program. And then this is where the support chat comes in. Sorry, before the support chat, there's an interview. It's
Yeah.
actually a pre-recorded interview. And so you record yourself answering some questions just so we get a feel of who you are. And then once you pass the stage, we do the support chat. At this point, if you hear from us in the support chat, you're actually in the program, right? So at
Wow.
this point,
That's
we
it.
say,
That's
yeah.
it.
So because we're just assessing what we need to do to support you, assessing risk levels as well. And then you're in. Our first year we got thousands. I think we had about 3,000 applications and we selected only 40 people.
Wow.
Yes,
So that's what people mean when they say it's a challenge.
exactly.
Yeah, okay. So there's a lot to
Exactly.
do. Rima, we're coming to the end of our conversation, but I'm sure people would
Mhm,
love to hear more from you about
mhm.
MEST and digital skills training. How can they get in touch with you and how can they get on this program?
So you can reach out to us. You can go on the website, the website. It is meltwater.org. You'll be able to see everything you want to know about MEST and our programs. You can also go to generation.org, which also talks about generation and the work that they do. You can also get access to the Grow program website as well. You can find us on LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn at Rayma Anda. You can also find the Grow program at Ghana Remote and Online Work. You can just Google us or go on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter. You'll find us all on those platforms as well.
Fantastic. Well, Rima, thanks very much for joining us. This has been Rima Andar, who's a programs director at MEST Africa. I've been Sam Morehouse, and I run Turntable. And thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye.